The morning sun peeked through the dusty windows of the university hallways as Maya pushed her cleaning cart forward. The squeaky wheel needed fixing, but the maintenance requests she'd submitted 3 times had mysteriously disappeared. Just like she often felt she did. Maya pulled her faded blue uniform jacket tighter around her shoulders. The building manager always kept the air conditioning too cold, claiming it kept the students alert during lectures. But Maya knew the truth. He simply didn't consider the comfort of the cleaning staff who shivered through their early morning shifts. Another day, she whispered to herself, a habit she'd developed during the 2 years she'd worked at Preston University. The prestigious school sat like a crown jewel among the city's buildings, all stone and ivy and history. Maya had learned its every corner, every hidden alcove where students sneaked kisses or study breaks, every professor's office and their particular cleaning preferences. What the students and faculty didn't know about Maya could fill books. Back home, she had earned top honors at her university. She'd studied computer engineering and mathematics, graduating with praise from professors who saw her potential. But war and economic collapse had forced her family to scatter across the globe. Maya had landed here, her degrees suddenly worthless pieces of paper, her accent too thick for most employers' comfort, so she cleaned. She scrubbed floors and emptied trash cans and wiped down tables where students carelessly left coffee spills and food wrappers. She did it all with quiet dignity even when they acted like she wasn't there. Oh, gross. Someone spilled their drink all over the table, said a voice from the doorway of the computer lab Maya was cleaning. Just leave it. That's what the cleaning lady is for, answered another. Maya kept her eyes down as 3 students entered. She recognized them from her early morning rounds. The boys who always left the robotics lab in disarray, who spoke loudly about their weekend parties and their parents' vacation homes. Excuse me, Maya said softly, trying to move her cart out of their way. The tallest one, with perfectly styled hair and an expensive watch, looked at her as if surprised the cart had spoken. Hey, cleaning lady, when you're done in here, the lab next door is a mess too. His friend laughed. Lee made a coffee explosion when he found out his code wasn't working. Maya nodded and continued wiping down the computer screens, careful not to disturb any papers left behind. She had learned early on that even scrap paper might contain important notes. Do you think she even understands English? The third boy said, not bothering to lower his voice. Who cares? That's not our problem. Come on, Professor Chen's class starts in 10 minutes, and I need to borrow your notes from last week. They left in a cloud of expensive cologne and privilege, unaware of how their words hung in the air like smoke. Maya had long ago stopped letting such comments sting. Her grandmother's voice echoed in her mind. Your worth is not measured by those who cannot see it. When the lab emptied completely, Maya allowed herself 5 minutes at one of the computers. It was her small act of rebellion, her daily reminder that she was more than what they saw. She pulled up a coding website and continued working on a problem she'd been solving bit by bit over the past week. The lines of code were a comfort, like old friends speaking a language only they understood. In these moments, Maya wasn't a cleaning woman. She was herself again, the bright student with dreams as vast as the night sky. A notification popped up on her phone. Her night class would begin in 8 hours, barely giving her time to finish her shift, catch the bus home, cook a quick meal, and make it to the community college across town. The program was nothing like what she'd studied before, more basic and outdated, but it was all she could afford. Each class was a step toward reclaiming her former life. Ms. Maya still on the 2nd floor? The kind voice belonged to Mr. Raj, the evening security guard who, unlike most, always greeted her by name. Yes, almost finished here, she replied with a small smile. Mr. Raj leaned against the doorframe, his gray-flecked beard catching the fluorescent light. You look tired today. Everything okay? Maya quickly closed the coding website and returned to wiping down the desk. Just stayed up late studying. I have a test next week. Still taking those night classes? Good for you, he said with genuine admiration. My daughter is also studying computer things. She says it's the future. Your daughter is smart, Maya said, feeling the familiar pang of missing her own family. Mr. Raj nodded proudly. She got that from her mother, thank goodness. He checked his watch. I'll be doing rounds on the 4th floor if you need anything. After he left, Maya finished cleaning the lab, then wheeled her cart toward the elevator. As the doors opened, she found herself face to face with Dean Wells and what appeared to be important visitors in expensive suits. "Excuse me," she murmured, pressing herself against the wall to make room. The dean glanced at her with mild irritation before continuing his conversation. "As I was saying, our computer science department is at the cutting edge of artificial intelligence research. The work our students and faculty are doing will revolutionize how we process humanitarian aid distribution data." Maya's ears perked up despite herself. This was her field, the very problem she'd been working on in her spare time. Designing an algorithm that could more efficiently distribute limited resources based on real-time needs assessment. "The challenge, of course," continued one of the visitors, "is creating an algorithm that can adapt to rapidly changing conditions on the ground." The dean nodded seriously, as if he understood the technical details. "Our top doctoral candidates are working on that very issue." Maya bit her lip to keep from speaking. She knew exactly how to solve the problem they were discussing. Her fingers itched to grab a pen and show them the solution that had come to her during one sleepless night. Instead, she exited the elevator on the 3rd floor, leaving them to their important conversation. As she cleaned the faculty offices, she could hear them in the conference room down the hall, their voices rising and falling as they debated technical approaches. During her lunch break, Maya sat alone on a bench behind the science building. Few people came here, making it her favorite spot to eat her homemade meal and read. Today, she pulled out her worn notebook instead of a book and began sketching the solution to the problem the dean and his visitors had discussed. The algorithm took shape on the page, elegant in its simplicity. Maya had always been able to see patterns others missed, connections that seemed obvious to her but eluded even her professors back home. "What are you writing?" Maya looked up, startled. A young woman stood nearby, her arms full of books and curiosity in her eyes. "Nothing important," Maya said, closing her notebook quickly. The woman, a student, based on her backpack and the student ID hanging around her neck, smiled. "Looked like code to me. Are you in the CS department?" For a moment, Maya considered telling the truth. But experience had taught her that people rarely believed her, and explaining often led to awkward silences or worse, pity. "I work here," she said simply, gesturing to her uniform. "Oh." The student's face registered surprise, then something like embarrassment. "I'm Priya. I'm a graduate assistant in computer science." "Maya," she replied, offering her name like a small gift. An awkward silence fell between them. Maya knew how these conversations usually went. The student would make an excuse and leave, uncomfortable with the realization that she'd tried to connect with someone from a different world. To her surprise, Priya sat down on the bench. "Do you mind if I eat here too? The cafeteria is too noisy and I have reading to do." Maya nodded, shifting slightly to make more room. They ate in silence for a few minutes, but it wasn't uncomfortable. There was something about Priya that put Maya at ease, perhaps the lack of judgment in her eyes. "I should get back to work," Maya said eventually, packing up her simple lunch. "It was nice meeting you, Maya," Priya said, and it sounded genuine. As Maya wheeled her cart through the afternoon halls, cleaning classrooms emptied by the end of the day's lessons, she allowed herself to imagine a different life, one where she walked these halls as a student or even a teacher, where her mind was valued above her ability to make things shine. The daydream shattered when she entered the main lecture hall and found it in chaos. Someone had spilled coffee across 3 rows of seats and crumpled papers littered the floor. On the whiteboard, among complex formulas, someone had drawn a caricature of a cleaning woman with an exaggerated frown. The caption read, "Smile more, lady." Maya stared at the drawing, recognizing herself in the crude lines. For a moment, the hurt bubbled up like a physical pain. Then, with practiced calm, she began cleaning, starting with erasing the drawing. By the time she finished her shift, darkness had fallen outside the tall windows. Maya punched out her time card, changed out of her uniform in the small staff bathroom, and headed for the bus stop. Tomorrow would be the same invisibility, the same labor, the same quiet persistence. But tonight she had her class to look forward to. And in her bag, the notebook with the algorithm that could change everything. If only someone would see her. Truly see her, for who she was and not just what she did. As the bus pulled away from the curb, Maya watched the university lights grow smaller in the distance. Somewhere in those bright windows, The future was being shaped by young minds who never had to doubt their place in the world. She wondered what they would think if they knew that the woman who emptied their trash might hold the solution to the very problems they struggled to solve the next morning. Arrived with unusual activity at Preston University, Maya noticed it the moment she stepped through the service entrance. Extra security guards stood at checkpoints, and maintenance workers hung banners across the main hall. Annual Tech Innovation Summit, they announced in bold blue letters. Big day today, said Mr. Raj as he checked Maya's ID badge. His usual cheerful face looked tired. They called in everyone for extra shifts. I've been here since midnight. What's happening? Maya asked, adjusting her cart of cleaning supplies. Some big-shot tech people are coming. CEOs, inventors, those types. The university is showing off to get funding. He yawned widely. They want everything spotless. The dean himself came by at 2 a.m. to check the auditorium. Maya nodded, understanding what this meant for her day. More work, more invisible rushing around, more pretending not to exist when important people walked by. She headed to the main auditorium first, knowing it would be the center of attention. The space had been transformed overnight. Sleek displays showcased student projects, and a stage had been set up with professional lighting. Rows of chairs faced the stage, each with a program neatly placed on the seat. Maya glanced at one as she dusted. The schedule listed presentations from tech companies, panel discussions, and a student innovation showcase in the evening. She worked quickly, knowing more people would arrive soon. As she polished the last window, the doors opened, and a stream of workers entered, carrying coffee urns and trays of pastries. Hey, careful with the floor, Maya called out as one man nearly tipped over a coffee urn. I just cleaned there. The man steadied himself and nodded apologetically. Unlike the students, the catering staff saw Maya. They were invisible workers too. By 8 o'clock, the auditorium filled with people in business attire. Maya kept to the edges, emptying small trash bins and wiping down surfaces as needed. No one glanced her way. Their attention focused on networking and the free coffee. The quantum computing presentation starts in 5 minutes in the blue room, announced a student volunteer, and a group of attendees moved toward the door. Maya followed at a distance. The blue room would need checking after the session. As she wheeled her cart down the hallway, she passed Priya from yesterday, who was speaking rapidly to an older woman. Professor Wong, I really think we should include the new algorithm in today's presentation. It addresses exactly what these companies are looking for. The professor shook her head. We haven't tested it enough, Priya. We can't risk looking unprepared. Priya looked frustrated but nodded respectfully. As she turned, she noticed Maya and gave a small wave. Maya smiled back, surprised to be remembered. The morning passed in a blur of cleaning and dodging important people. During her lunch break, Maya found a quiet corner in the cafeteria, away from the conference attendees. She pulled out her notebook and continued working on her algorithm, inspired by snippets of conversations she'd overheard throughout the morning. Mind if I join you? Maya looked up to find Priya standing there with a tray. Please, Maya said, closing her notebook but not quickly enough. You're still working on that code I saw yesterday? Priya asked, sitting down. Maya hesitated, then nodded. It's just a hobby. Some hobby. That looked like distribution optimization to me. It is, Maya admitted. I was trying to solve a problem for aid distribution in crisis zones. Priya's eyes widened. That's exactly what our research team is working on. Are you sure you're not secretly a computer science student? The question hung in the air. Maya looked down at her worn uniform, then back at Priya's curious face. Something in the young woman's expression gave Maya courage. I studied computer engineering back home before I came here. Really? Where was home? A place that doesn't exist anymore, not how I knew it. Maya didn't want to say more. My degrees don't count here. Priya seemed about to ask another question when her phone buzzed. Oh no, I'm late for the panel. I have to run. She gathered her things quickly. It was nice talking to you again, Maya. Maya watched her hurry away, feeling an odd mix of relief and disappointment. It had been nice to talk about code again, to be seen as something other than the cleaning lady. After lunch, Maya was assigned to the East Wing, where smaller breakout sessions were being held. As she restocked paper towels in a bathroom, she heard raised voices from the room across the hall. The simulation crashed again. We can't present this. A man's voice sounded panicked. We have to figure something out. We have 40 minutes before the showcase. This voice belonged to Priya. Maya finished her task and wheeled her cart past the open door. Inside, she glimpsed a group of students and Professor Wong gathered around a laptop, faces tense with worry. The distribution points keep failing under stress testing, one student said. The algorithm can't handle multiple changing variables at once. Maya paused. This was exactly the problem she'd been working on. Her solution used a different approach entirely, treating the distribution points as a flexible network rather than fixed nodes. She should keep walking. This wasn't her problem, wasn't her world anymore, but something made her stop. "Excuse me," she said softly from the doorway. The room fell silent as everyone turned to look at her. Professor Wong frowned slightly. "Yes, do you need to clean in here?" "No, Maya took a deep breath. "I couldn't help overhearing. I might know how to fix your algorithm." The silence deepened. Someone snickered. "I'm sorry," Professor Wong said, not unkindly, "but we're in the middle of something important." "I know," Maya persisted, her heart pounding. "Your distribution algorithm keeps failing because you're treating the points as static, but in a real crisis, nothing stays fixed." The professor's eyebrows shot up. One of the students whispered something to another. Priya stood up. "Wait, let's hear her out." "Maya, right? What would you suggest?" All eyes were now on Maya. She stepped forward, leaving her cleaning cart by the door. "May I?" she asked, gesturing toward the whiteboard. Professor Wong nodded, curiosity replacing her initial dismissal. Maya picked up a marker and began drawing a diagram. Instead of a hub and spoke model, think of it as a living network. Her hand moved confidently, mapping out nodes and connections. Each distribution point makes decisions based on local conditions but communicates changes to the network. She wrote out a few lines of pseudocode, explaining as she went. This way, if one route becomes blocked or a distribution point gets overwhelmed, the entire system adapts automatically. When she finished, the room remained silent. Maya put the cap back on the marker, suddenly self-conscious in her cleaning uniform. Professor Wong approached the board slowly, studying Maya's work. "This is elegant," she turned to Maya. "Where did you learn this approach?" "University of Nor Computer Engineering. I graduated 6 years ago." The professor's eyes widened slightly. "I've read papers from their faculty. Excellent work in distributed systems." One of the students had already begun typing Maya's solution into the laptop. "It's working," he announced after a few minutes. The simulation is running without crashing. The tension in the room transformed into excitement. Students gathered around the laptop, pointing and talking rapidly. Priya gave Maya a thumbs up. "Thank you," Professor Wong said, genuine respect in her voice. "You may have just saved our presentation." She extended her hand. "I'm Dr. Wong, head of computer science." "Maya Noor," Maya replied, shaking the offered hand. "Maya, would you be willing to stay for the presentation? In case we have any issues?" Before Maya could answer, a voice from the doorway cut in. "What's going on here? Why is the cleaning staff at the whiteboard?" The building manager stood there frowning at Maya's abandoned cart. "Ms. Noor was just helping us with a technical problem," Dr. Wong said smoothly. "And doing an exceptional job, I might add." The manager looked confused. "She needs to finish her assigned areas before the next sessions." "I understand," Dr. Wong said, "but I'd like to borrow her expertise this afternoon. Could you arrange coverage for her areas?" The manager's mouth opened and closed, unused to such requests. I suppose so. If it's important." "It is," Dr. Wong confirmed. "Very important." After the manager left, Maya stood awkwardly, caught between two worlds. The students were looking at her differently now, with curiosity instead of indifference. "I should check with my supervisor," she said. "I'll take care of it," Dr. Wong assured her. "But first, I'd like you to meet someone." She led Maya to the corner of the room where an older man in an expensive suit had been observing quietly. "Maya, this is Dr. Chen, CEO of GlobeTech. His company is sponsoring our research." She turned to the man. "Dr. Chen, this is the engineer I was just telling you about." The CEO studied Maya with intelligent eyes. "Impressive work. We've been trying to solve that same distribution problem for months." Maya nodded, unsure what to say. This morning she had been invisible. Now somehow she was standing in a room of technology experts being introduced to a CEO. "Tell me, Ms. Noor," Dr. Chen said, "would you be interested in presenting your solution at tomorrow night's showcase? I believe many companies would be interested in this approach." "Tomorrow night. Maya thought of her evening class, her tiny apartment, her life that seemed so far removed from this world of innovation and opportunity. I don't know, she stammered. Think about it, he said, handing her a business card. The invitation is open. We need minds like yours. As the group returned to preparing for their presentation, Priya approached Maya. You're full of surprises, she said with a smile. Will you come tomorrow? Maya looked down at the business card in her hand, then back at the whiteboard where her solution glowed in blue marker. Maybe, she said softly. Maybe I will. Maya sat on the edge of her bed, staring at the business card in her hands. Dr. Chen, CEO of Globetech. The glossy card caught the dim light of her small apartment, seeming out of place among her modest belongings. Outside, rain tapped gently against the window, matching the rhythm of her thoughts. Her phone buzzed with a text from Priya. Hope you're coming tomorrow. Everyone's talking about your solution. Maya hadn't given Priya her number. Dr. Wong must have gotten it from HR and passed it along. The thought made her smile. Just yesterday, no one at the university would have bothered to find her number for anything except an extra cleaning shift. She set the card on her nightstand and walked to the kitchen area of her studio apartment. The space was tiny but neat, with a few treasured photos from home and books stacked carefully on a small shelf. As she heated leftover rice and beans, Maya called her grandmother. After 3 rings, the familiar voice answered. Hello, Maya? Hi, Nani, Maya said, the sound of her grandmother's voice immediately warming her. How are you feeling today? Better than yesterday, not as good as tomorrow, came the usual cheerful response. The real question is, how are you, my star? Maya stirred her dinner, wondering where to begin. Something happened at work. Did they finally fix that squeaky wheel on your cart? No, Maya laughed. Something bigger. She told her grandmother about the tech conference, the algorithm, and the invitation to present. I knew it. Her grandmother's voice rose with excitement. I told you that one day they would see what I see. But Nani, I'm not sure if I should go. What would I even wear? I don't belong in that world anymore. Maya Noor, her grandmother's tone turned serious. You listen to me. Your father didn't cross oceans and your mother didn't work 3 jobs so you could hide your light. You belong wherever your mind takes you. Maya's eyes filled with tears. I'm scared. Of course you are. But being scared never stopped you before, did it? Not when you were the only girl in the robotics club. Not when you had to leave home. As they talked, Maya's phone buzzed again. A text from Mr. Raj. My daughter says your algorithm is brilliant. She's in Dr. Wong's class. So proud to know you, see? Her grandmother said when Maya told her about the message. The world is already changing around you. After hanging up, Maya finished her dinner and sat at her small desk. She opened her notebook and reviewed her algorithm, looking for improvements. If she was going to present tomorrow, she wanted to be prepared for any questions. Hours passed as she worked, refining and expanding her solution. When she finally looked up, it was past midnight. She had to be at work in 5 hours, but her mind was too alive with possibilities to sleep. Maya pulled out her only nice outfit from the closet, a simple blue blouse and black pants she wore to job interviews. Not exactly presentation material for a tech conference, she sighed, folding them neatly on a chair. One problem at a time, she told herself, her grandmother's favorite saying. The next morning came too quickly. Maya moved through her cleaning duties with her mind elsewhere, rehearsing explanations and visualizing diagrams. During her break, Priya found her in the cafeteria. There you are. Priya slid into the seat across from Maya. Dr. Wong's been looking for you. They want to add your presentation to the official program for tonight. Maya clutched her coffee cup tighter. I haven't decided yet if I'm coming. Priya's smile faded. What? Why not? This could be huge for you. How could she explain? The fear, the sense of not belonging, the practical problems of clothes and transportation and time. I have night class, she said finally. And I don't have anything to wear to something like this and— Stop, Priya held up her hand. Night class can be missed once. And the clothes— She studied Maya thoughtfully. We're about the same size. I have plenty you could borrow. Why are you helping me? Maya asked. You barely know me, Priya leaned forward. Because yesterday I saw someone solve in 10 minutes a problem our entire department has been stuck on for months. Because talent like yours shouldn't be pushing a cleaning cart. And because, she added with a small smile, I'd like to think if our situations were reversed, you'd help me too. Maya's shift ended at 4 o'clock. Instead of heading to the bus stop, she met Priya at the computer science building. Priya led her to a faculty lounge where Dr. Wong was waiting. "Maya, good. We've scheduled you for 7:30 p.m., the professor said without preamble. 20 minutes to present, 10 for questions. Dr. Chen has invited several investors specifically to hear your solution." The room seemed to tilt slightly. "Dr. Wong, I don't think I can—" "You can," Dr. Wong interrupted firmly. "I reviewed your work more thoroughly last night. It's exceptional. These companies need to hear it. But my clothes—" "Taken care of," Priya chimed in. "My roommate works in the drama department. She's bringing options from the costume shop. And there's this," Dr. Wong added, handing Maya a folder. Inside was an official university visitor badge with Maya's name, and a letter offering her a paid consultant position for the duration of the conference. "This way, you're officially presenting as a consultant, not as—" Dr. Wong hesitated. "Not as the cleaning lady," Maya finished for her. "Exactly." The professor looked slightly embarrassed. "It pays $500 per day. The dean approved it this morning. $500. That was more than Maya made in a week. The money would help with her grandmother's medication, with her tuition for next semester. I don't understand why you're doing all this," Maya said. Dr. Wong's expression softened. 20 years ago, I was a young immigrant with unrecognized credentials. Someone gave me a chance. Now I'm paying it forward." Before Maya could respond, the door opened and a young woman entered, arms full of clothes. "Wardrobe has arrived. Let's play dress up." The next 2 hours passed in a whirlwind of preparation. Maya tried on outfits, practiced her presentation with Dr. Wong and Priya offering suggestions, and attempted to calm her racing heart. By 6 o'clock, she stood before a mirror, barely recognizing herself. She wore a simple but elegant navy blue dress with a fitted jacket. Her hair, usually pulled back in a practical ponytail, had been styled by Priya into soft waves. Light makeup enhanced her features without feeling overdone. "You look amazing," Priya said, standing behind her in the mirror. "How do you feel?" "Terrified," Maya admitted. "What if they laugh at me? What if they think Dr. Wong is just being kind to the cleaning lady?" "Then they're fools," came a new voice. Dr. Chen stood in the doorway, his expression unreadable. "And I don't do business with fools." He entered the room carrying a small gift bag. "I brought something for you, Ms. Noor." Inside was a sleek tablet computer. "The latest GlobeTech model, not available to the public yet. I loaded your algorithm from Dr. Wong. There's a presentation app with some visualizations I thought might help." Maya stared at the expensive device. "I can't accept this." "It's not a gift, it's a tool," Dr. Chen said firmly. "You can't bring handwritten notes to a tech conference. We have standards." His serious expression cracked into a small smile. "Besides, you might want to work for me someday. Consider it your first company equipment." As 7 o'clock approached, Maya's nervousness peaked. She stood in a small room off the main auditorium, listening to the murmur of the gathering crowd. "I should call my supervisor," she said suddenly. "I never told her I wouldn't be cleaning the evening shift." "Already handled," Dr. Wong assured her. "The dean's office contacted facilities management." Priya peeked through the door. "It's packed out there. All the big tech companies are represented." Maya felt her legs go weak. "I think I'm going to be sick." Dr. Wong handed her a bottle of water. "Breathe. You know this material better than anyone. Just explain it like you did yesterday, step by step. What if someone asks where I work, where I studied?" "Tell the truth," Dr. Chen said from where he leaned against the wall. "Your background makes your achievement more impressive, not less." A student volunteer appeared at the door. 5 minutes until the next presentation." Dr. Wong squeezed Maya's arm encouragingly. "Ready?" No, Maya thought. I'll never be ready for this. But she nodded anyway. As she moved toward the stage, Maya thought of her parents, who had sacrificed everything for her education. She thought of her grandmother, who never doubted her abilities. She thought of Mr. Raj, who had always treated her with respect when others looked through her. And she thought of herself just yesterday, invisible as she pushed her cleaning cart through these same halls. Ms. Maya Noor, the announcer's voice echoed through the auditorium, presenting adaptive distribution networks for crisis response. Maya took a deep breath and stepped onto the stage. The lights were bright, the audience a blur of faces. She caught a glimpse of Priya giving her a thumbs up from the front row. Dr. Wong nodded encouragingly beside her. Maya placed the tablet on the podium, hands trembling slightly. Then she looked up at the crowd, found her voice, and began to speak. In times of crisis, the greatest challenge isn't just getting aid to people who need it. It's adapting when everything changes, when roads become impassable, when new needs emerge, when resources run out. Her voice grew stronger with each word. Today, I want to show you a better way. The audience fell silent as Maya spoke. What had started as trembling words grew into confident explanations. Her hands moved gracefully across the tablet, bringing up diagrams and simulations that displayed across the huge screen behind her. Traditional distribution systems fail because they're too rigid, she explained, showing a map with red dots representing aid centers. When something unexpected happens, a bridge collapses, a road floods, the entire system breaks down. She tapped the screen and the map transformed, showing flowing lines between points that shifted and reorganized as obstacles appeared. But what if each distribution point could make its own decisions while staying connected to the network? What if information flowed in real time, allowing the entire system to adapt? In the front row, Dr. Chen nodded approvingly. Beside him, several people were taking notes. Maya recognized one as the CEO of Rapid Relief, the largest disaster response organization in the country. This isn't just theory, Maya continued, gaining confidence with each moment. I've simulated this system using real data from 3 major disaster responses. She walked them through the results, showing how her algorithm outperformed traditional methods by nearly 60%. The numbers spoke for themselves. More aid delivered, fewer resources wasted, faster response times. When she finished her presentation, there was a moment of silence. Then someone started clapping. Others joined in until the applause filled the auditorium. Maya stood blinking under the lights, hardly believing the sound was for her. The question period began and hands shot up across the audience. "How does your system handle communication failures?" asked a woman in a crisp business suit. Maya smiled. She had anticipated this question. Each node stores critical information locally and can function independently if needed. When connection returns, it synchronizes with the network and updates its data. "What about security concerns?" called out another voice. "The system uses multiple layers of encryption," Maya explained, "and because decision-making is distributed, a breach in one location doesn't compromise the entire network." Question after question came, and Maya answered each one clearly, sometimes pulling up additional diagrams to illustrate her points. The technical details flowed easily now, her years of education and private work coming together perfectly. As the session ended, people crowded around the stage. Business cards appeared from every direction. Maya accepted them in a daze, barely registering the company names. Tech giants, humanitarian organizations, government agencies. "That was incredible," Priya said, finally reaching Maya through the crowd. "You owned that room." Dr. Wong appeared at Maya's elbow. "Several companies have already asked for private meetings. And the dean wants to see you tomorrow morning." "The dean?" Maya echoed, still processing everything. "Yes. I believe he's interested in discussing some form of research position." Maya's phone buzzed in her pocket, a text from her grandmother. "I knew you would shine, my star." How did Nani know? Then Maya spotted Mr. Raj near the back of the room, phone in hand, beaming proudly. He must have sent a message to his daughter, who somehow got word to Maya's grandmother. As the crowd thinned, Dr. Chen approached with a small group of well-dressed people. "Ms. Noor, allow me to introduce the GlobeTech executive team and some of our key investors. They were very impressed by your presentation." Maya shook hands with each person, trying to remember their names and titles. One woman with silver hair and sharp eyes held Maya's hand a moment longer. "I've been in tech for 40 years, she said. "What you showed today could change how we respond to crises worldwide. We should talk soon." As the group moved away, Dr. Chen remained. "You exceeded expectations, Ms. Noor, and I don't say that lightly." "Thank you for the opportunity," Maya replied. "And for the tablet. It made a huge difference." "Speaking of opportunities," he said, "would you be available for dinner tomorrow?" "I'd like to discuss your future." Maya's mind raced. "My future?" "GlobeTech has a research division focused on humanitarian technology. We've been looking for someone with exactly your vision. Before Maya could respond, a commotion near the door caught her attention. The building manager stood there looking confused and annoyed. Behind him were two members of the cleaning staff, clutching their carts and staring wide-eyed at Maya on stage. "Is that?" one whispered to the other. The building manager spotted Maya and marched toward her, his face a storm cloud. "Ms. Noor, you were supposed to be cleaning the West Wing this evening. These areas don't clean themselves." A hush fell over the remaining audience members. Dr. Chen turned slowly to face the manager. "Excuse me," he said, his voice dangerously quiet. "Ms. Noor was presenting groundbreaking research at my personal invitation." The manager faltered, looking from Dr. Chen to Maya. "But she's on the cleaning schedule." Her supervisor, "Perhaps," Dr. Wong interrupted, stepping forward. "You should speak with the dean. He approved Ms. Noor's consultant position for the conference." The manager's mouth opened and closed like a fish. He looked again at Maya, taking in her elegant dress and the tablet in her hand, so different from her usual uniform and cart. There must be some mistake," he mumbled, backing away. Maya watched him retreat, feeling a strange mix of emotions. Yesterday, his dismissive attitude would have hurt her deeply. Today, it barely touched her. As the auditorium emptied, Maya gathered her things. The borrowed dress suddenly felt heavy on her shoulders, as if the weight of the day's events was sinking in all at once. "You okay?" Priya asked, noticing Maya's silence. "Just tired," Maya replied, "and trying to make sense of everything." "Well, you can think about it on the way home. My roommate's picking us up. She wants to hear all about your triumph." They walked together toward the exit. Outside, the night air felt cool against Maya's flushed face. Stars peeked through gaps in the city's light pollution, reminding her of nights back home when she and her father would sit on their roof and dream about her future. "He would be so proud," she whispered to herself. "What's that?" Priya asked. "Nothing, just thinking about my father." They reached the parking lot where a beat-up car waited, its engine running. Priya's roommate waved from the driver's seat. "Maya!" Dr. Wong called, hurrying across the lot toward them. "I almost forgot. Dr. Chen wanted you to have this." She handed Maya an envelope. Inside was an invitation to a private dinner the following evening with the Globetech executive team, along with a business card for a car service. He said to call this number tomorrow at 6 p.m. They'll pick you up and bring you to the restaurant. Maya stared at the card. "A car service?" Dr. Wong smiled. "Dr. Chen believes in making good impressions." "Oh, and keep the tablet," he insisted. As they drove away from the university, Maya sat quietly in the back seat, letting Priya do most of the talking. The city lights blurred past the window, each one seeming to represent a possibility in her suddenly wide-open future. Back at her apartment, Maya carefully hung up the borrowed dress and placed the stack of business cards on her desk. She changed into her comfortable pajamas and called her grandmother, who was waiting eagerly for details. "I knew it," Nani kept saying. "I always knew this day would come." After the call, Maya couldn't sleep. Her mind raced with images from the day, the audience's faces, Dr. Chen's offer, the building manager's shock. And beneath it all, a persistent question. What happens now? Morning came with soft sunlight filtering through her thin curtains. For the first time in 2 years, Maya didn't put on her blue uniform. Instead, she dressed in her own clothes, simple jeans and a sweater, and headed to campus for her meeting with the dean. The university looked different somehow. The same buildings, the same paths, but Maya moved through them differently. Students passed her without the usual indifference. Several even nodded in greeting, recognizing her from the presentation. At the administration building, a secretary showed her straight to the dean's office. No waiting, no suspicious glances. "Ms. Noor," the dean rose from his desk as she entered. "Please have a seat." Maya sat, noting with irony that she had cleaned this very office countless times, dusting the awards on the wall and emptying the trash can beside the desk. "Dr. Wong has spoken very highly of your work," the dean began. "And after last night's presentation, several of our donors called me personally to express their enthusiasm." Maya waited, unsure where this was heading. "The university would like to offer you a position as a research fellow in our computer science department. The position comes with a stipend and would allow you to pursue your algorithm development full-time." He slid a folder across the desk. Inside was an official letter with a salary figure that made Maya's eyes widen. "This is very generous," she said carefully. But I should tell you that Globetech has also expressed interest in hiring me. The dean leaned back, a calculating look crossing his face. I see. Well, perhaps we can discuss some flexibility in the arrangement. The university values innovation. Ms. Norn, we'd hate to lose you to the private sector. The same university that had only valued her ability to clean floors yesterday was now afraid of losing her. The irony wasn't lost on Maya. I'll need time to consider both offers, she said. Surprised by her own confidence, of course, the dean nodded. Take the weekend. We can discuss details on Monday. As Maya left the administration building, her phone buzzed with a text from Priya. How'd it go with the dean? Maya smiled and typed back. He offered me a research position. Having dinner with Globetech tonight to hear their offer too. Priya's response came immediately. OMG. Career options. This calls for celebration. Lunch? For the first time in years, Maya had nothing scheduled, no cleaning shift, no night class, nothing but possibility stretching before her. Yes, she replied. Lunch would be perfect. As she walked across campus, Maya passed the computer lab where just days ago she had erased a mocking caricature of herself from the whiteboard. Through the window, she could see students working, oblivious to her presence, but not because she was invisible. Simply because she was now just another person on campus, neither above nor below them. Her phone buzzed again. The car service, confirming her pickup time for that evening. Maya smiled, imagining the faces of those same students tomorrow when a limousine pulled up to the university, and she stepped out. Not as the cleaning lady, but as Maya Noor, the engineer whose algorithm might change the world. Maya stood in front of her apartment mirror, hardly recognizing herself. The dress Priya had brought over was unlike anything Maya had ever worn. Deep emerald green that complemented her skin tone, with a simple cut that looked both professional and elegant. Her hair was swept up in a style Priya had patiently taught her to create, and light makeup enhanced her features. You look amazing, Priya said, standing behind her. Globetech isn't going to know what hit them. Maya took a deep breath. I'm still not sure this is real. Better believe it, Priya laughed, checking her watch. Your chariot arrives in 20 minutes. They had spent the afternoon preparing for the dinner. Priya had researched the restaurant, one of the most exclusive in the city, helped Maya practice potential interview questions, and brought over the perfect outfit from her cousin who worked in finance. Remember, Priya said, handing Maya a small clutch purse, you're not asking for their approval. They're trying to win you over. The university already made an offer, so you're in the power position. The idea still felt strange to Maya. Just days ago, she had been invisible, pushing a cleaning cart through halls where people barely glanced her way. Now she was fielding job offers and preparing for a private dinner with executives. Maya's phone buzzed with a text from her grandmother. Stand tall. You were born for this moment. Attached was a photo of Maya as a little girl proudly holding a science award. Her father stood beside her, his face beaming with pride. The sight brought tears to her eyes. Your family? Priya asked gently. Maya nodded. My father. He died 3 years ago, just before I came here. She touched the screen softly. He was the one who taught me to code, who told me I could solve any problem if I broke it down into small enough pieces. He was right, Priya said. And I bet he'd be incredibly proud right now. A notification appeared on Maya's phone, the car service app showing that her ride was approaching. It's time, Priya said, squeezing Maya's shoulders. Go show them what Maya Noor is capable of. Maya grabbed her tablet and the small notebook where she'd jotted questions she wanted to ask about the position. Proper preparation had always been her way of managing nerves. Outside, she expected to see a regular car with a company logo. Instead, a sleek black limousine pulled up to the curb, drawing curious glances from neighbors. The driver stepped out, checked his phone, and approached her. Ms. Noor? He asked politely. Yes, Maya managed, staring at the vehicle. Dr. Chen sent his personal car for you. He opened the rear door, revealing a luxurious interior. Priya nudged her forward. Your carriage awaits, Cinderella. Maya slid into the back seat, feeling completely out of place among the leather upholstery and ambient lighting. The door closed with a soft thud, sealing her in quiet comfort. As the limousine pulled away from the curb, Maya caught a glimpse of her apartment building, the peeling paint, the flickering exterior lights, the narrow windows. For 2 years, that small studio had been her entire world outside of work and school. Tonight, it looked like a chapter that was ending. The city transformed through the tinted windows of the limousine. Streets Maya normally traveled by bus looked different from this vantage point. They passed the community college where she took night classes, then wound through downtown toward the restaurant district. To her surprise, the driver turned toward the university. "I thought we were going to the Crescent restaurant," Maya said, leaning forward. "Just a quick stop first." "Per Dr. Chen's instructions," the driver replied. The limousine turned into the main entrance of Preston University, not the service road Maya usually used, but the grand front drive where parents dropped off students and important visitors arrived. The evening tech sessions would be ending soon, with attendees and students filling the pathways. As the car pulled up to the main steps, Maya felt a flutter of anxiety. What was this about? Her question was answered when she saw Dr. Chen waiting on the steps checking his watch. The driver opened her door. "Dr. Chen will join you for the ride to the restaurant. He had a final session to attend here." Maya stepped out of the limousine, immediately aware of the stares from people passing by. The green dress caught the campus lights, a stark contrast to the blue uniform she normally wore in these surroundings. "Ms. Noor," Dr. Chen greeted her with a warm smile. "I hope you don't mind the slight detour." "Not at all," Maya replied, though she wondered about the timing. Just then, the doors of the main hall opened, and a crowd of conference attendees spilled out, including several students Maya recognized. The same ones who had mocked her, left messes for her to clean, treated her as invisible. They stopped short at the sight of her standing by the limousine in her elegant dress. Maya saw the moment of confusion, then recognition crossed their faces. "Isn't that?" one whispered to another. Dr. Chen, either oblivious to the drama or more likely perfectly aware of it, checked his phone. "Perfect timing, shall we? We have reservations in 20 minutes. He gestured toward the open limousine door. Maya hesitated for just a moment, then lifted her chin and walked with measured steps to the car. She didn't look back at the stunned students, didn't acknowledge their stares, but she felt a small, sweet satisfaction as she slid into the luxurious back seat, Dr. Chen following behind. As they pulled away, Dr. Chen smiled slightly. "I hope you don't mind the university stop. I had a final meeting with potential donors." Something in his tone told Maya he understood exactly what had just happened, how the students who had once mocked her simplicity had just seen her arrive in a limousine, dressed for success, clearly headed toward a future they hadn't imagined for her. "Not at all," Maya replied, matching his professional tone. It was on the way. The restaurant was everything Priya had described. Soft lighting, white tablecloths, waiters who moved like shadows. The maitre d' led them to a private dining room where 4 other executives from GlobeTech were waiting. Throughout the dinner, they discussed Maya's algorithm, her vision for its applications, and her background. She spoke honestly about her education. Back home and the circumstances that had led her to work as a custodian, resourcefulness and persistence, said the silver-haired woman Maya had met briefly after her presentation. "Those are qualities we value highly at GlobeTech." By the time dessert arrived, they had outlined a potential position, lead researcher in humanitarian technology applications, with a team of engineers reporting to her. The salary they mentioned made Maya glad she was sitting down. "We'd also sponsor your work visa and provide relocation assistance to our research campus," Dr. Chen added. "And of course, tuition reimbursement if you wish to pursue advanced degrees." Maya took a small sip of water, gathering her thoughts. "The offer is incredibly generous, but," the silver-haired woman asked perceptively. "But I'm also considering the university's research fellow position," Maya admitted. "I'm drawn to the educational component, the chance to teach while developing the algorithm." Dr. Chen nodded thoughtfully. "A valid consideration. What if GlobeTech offered a hybrid arrangement? You could lead our research team while maintaining a guest lecturer position at the university. We've done similar arrangements before." By the time the limousine dropped Maya at her apartment, her head was swimming with possibilities. She had promised both GlobeTech and the university an answer by Monday, giving herself the weekend to make a life-changing decision. Inside, she kicked off her shoes and called her grandmother despite the late hour. "They offered me everything, Nani," she said, still in disbelief. "A research team, a real salary, visa sponsorship." "Of course they did," her grandmother replied. They finally see what was always there. The next morning, Maya woke to her phone buzzing with messages. Priya wanted details about the dinner. Mr. Raj congratulated her on behalf of his whole family. And Dr. Wong asked if she could stop by the computer science building. There was something Maya needed to see. Curious, Maya dressed in casual weekend clothes and took the bus to campus. It felt strange to be there on a Saturday. Stranger still to walk through the front entrance rather than the service door. She found Dr. Wong in her office, surrounded by weekend quiet. "Thank you for coming," the professor said. "I wanted to show you something before you make your decision." Dr. Wong led Maya to a large computer lab. Inside, several students were working, including the ones who had stared in shock when she emerged from the limousine the night before. They looked up as Maya entered, their expressions a mix of embarrassment and curiosity. "Everyone," Dr. Wong announced, "this is Maya Noor, the engineer I told you about. She's considering joining our department as a research fellow and instructor." Maya nodded politely, maintaining her composure despite the surreal feeling of being introduced to students who had once left messes for her to clean. "Ms. Noor," Dr. Wong continued, "these students have been attempting to build on your algorithm for their senior projects. They have some questions if you wouldn't mind." For the next hour, Maya found herself explaining concepts and answering questions. The students listened intently, taking notes, treating her with the respect of a valued educator. The same voices that had once dismissed her now asked for her insights. When they finished, Dr. Wong walked Maya back to her office. "I wanted you to see that side of the university position, the chance to shape young minds to pass on what you know. It's a powerful argument," Maya admitted. By Sunday evening, Maya had made her decision. She sat at her small desk looking at the two offers side by side. Both promised to change her life completely. Both recognized the value of her mind rather than the labor of her hands. On Monday morning, Maya once again found herself in a limousine, this time sent by the university at the dean's insistence. As it pulled up to the main entrance, she saw students pausing to see who would emerge. Some of them were the same ones who had watched in shock 3 nights earlier. Maya stepped out, dressed in a simple but elegant outfit she had purchased over the weekend, her first new clothes in years. She carried the tablet Dr. Chen had given her and a folder containing her decision. As she walked up the steps, she passed a cleaning crew member emptying trash cans. The woman gave Maya a curious glance, perhaps wondering who this confident stranger might be. Maya paused and smiled warmly at her. "Good morning," she said. The woman blinked in surprise, then returned the smile. "Good morning." In that simple exchange was everything Maya had learned over the past week, the importance of seeing people. Truly seeing them regardless of what they did or what they wore. She continued up the steps toward the dean's office, where she would announce her decision to create a joint position between GlobeTech and the university. She would develop her algorithm with corporate resources while teaching and mentoring students, building a bridge between the worlds of business and education, and she would establish a scholarship for immigrant workers seeking to further their education, funded by her own salary, ensuring that simplicity would never again be mistaken for lack of brilliance. As Maya reached the top of the steps, she turned and looked back at the campus spreading before her. Just days ago, she had cleaned these buildings in the early morning light, invisible to those who passed. Today, she stood in the same sunlight, finally seen for who she truly was. The journey had begun with mockery and would continue with respect. It had started with a cleaning cart and led to a limousine. But the true transformation wasn't in how others saw Maya. It was in how she saw herself. With that thought warming her heart, Maya walked through the doors to her future.